complex questions with payoffs that are hard to compare, we often reinterpret the question by framing it in a particular way to make the decision easier, or allowing someone else, like a marketer or politician, to frame it for us. Behavioral economics also raises other questions about the core ideas of economics, such as the thorny topic of utility. In traditional economics, people were assumed to have fixed preferences. The purpose of economic exchange was to optimize utility, which was a measure of how these preferences were met. Psychologists have long known, however, that our preferences are not set in stone, but change with time and with context. Utility is therefore not a stable or well-defined quantity, which, as we will see, has implications for how we model economic transactions. Behavioral effects also come into play in other areas, such as finance or macroeconomics, the study of the economy as a whole, which have come under increasing scrutiny since the financial crisis of 2007 through 2008. Although its roots go back much further, behavioral economics as we know it today began with the work of small teams of psychologists in the 1970s. They were interested not in building a grand general theory of economics, but in studying how people actually make decisions, through experiments where they enlisted subjects to play games or make choices. In the last few decades, the field has become increasingly popular, publicized in books such as Freakonomics by economist Stephen Levitt and journalist Stephen J. Dubner, Nudge by economist Richard H. Thaler and law professor Cass R. Sunstein, and Thinking Fast and Slow by psychologist Daniel Kahneman, and has become a regular offering in university curricula. Its founders, including Thaler and Kahneman, have been garlanded with the Nobel Memorial Prize in Economic Sciences, which is the economics version of the Nobel Prize. However, as we'll see, the field also has its critics, such as forecasting expert Nassim Taleb, who say it goes too far in attempting to model human psychology. He has described it as bullshit science, and others who say it doesn't go far enough. This book will take you on a guided tour of some of the murkier aspects of economic behavior and show how behavioral economics is putting the study of human nature back into economics, including shaping our response to some of our most pressing issues, such as climate change and pandemics. The rest of the book can be divided roughly into 3 parts. Chapters 1 and 2 show how behavioral economics is affecting us today, and goes back to revisit how it first emerged as a contender to mainstream approaches. Chapters 3 to 6 focus on how people make decisions as individuals. We explore the various cognitive effects that sometimes confuse us and the heuristics that get us through the day. Finally, Chapters 7 and 8 broaden the view to consider social behaviors such as herding and altruism, and show how these effects scale up to affect areas such as the stock market and the macroeconomy. Along the way, we will look at some of the ways behavioral economics is used and abused by companies and governments, assess the strengths and weaknesses of the field, consider its effectiveness as a policy tool, and ask whether it represents a revolution in economics or is best seen as an adjustment to existing practice. We begin in the next chapter by considering an archetypal illustration of the power, the challenges, and the limitations of behavioral economics. 1. Stay or go. Many of the results in behavioral psychology are based, as we'll see, on the results